It's so big.
Slow down. I'm in paradise.
The World Cup is finally in America, which means thousands of Europeans are currently touching.
What's going on?
As a European in the US, I just love how people I've never met call me like sweetie and honey and sweet.
Oh, how fucking hard that was for mental health, and every single one of you who have supported it from the start and believed that I could do it. We're fucking here. We done it.
Would you fly across an ocean expecting to find a country falling apart and leave posting that you owe it an apology? That's exactly what's been happening this summer, over and over, in city after city, and it has nothing to do with who wins on the pitch. Stadium exterior, fans arriving, flags of multiple countries. If you want more of these stories as they come in, go ahead and hit subscribe now so you don't miss the next one, because this series isn't slowing down anytime soon. Here's the setup. The 2026 World Cup spread matches across 11 American cities, from Seattle to Miami, Boston to Los Angeles, and analysts at Oxford Economics projected the tournament would draw over 1 million international visitors into the country. That's a lot of people landing with a lot of preconceptions, and, judging by what's been flooding social media since the opening matches, a huge number of those preconceptions didn't survive contact with reality. Start with the thing nobody expected to be the story. Hospitality. Not the polished, performative kind, the actual unscripted kind. A wave of Scottish supporters descended on Boston in such numbers that locals started only half-jokingly calling it New Scotland for the week. Kilts on every corner. A level of goodwill from residents that visibly caught the fans off guard. One group of Scots rented a house near the stadium and, at 6 in the morning, decided the neighborhood needed to hear the sound of bagpipes. Nobody called the police in anger. If anything, the story that spread afterward was about how the block leaned into it. Would you rather your neighbors tolerate a surprise at dawn or shut the door and call it noise pollution? Because that split says something about the two cultures colliding this summer. Tourism researchers have actually been tracking why moments like these stick. Dr. Rachel Fu, who studies hospitality and tourism at the University of Florida, has pointed out that visitors don't just remember landmarks. They remember people. The driver who recommended a barbecue spot, the volunteer who walked them to the right platform, the stranger who simply said, "Welcome." That's the texture that ends up on camera, again and again this summer. One British content creator who relocated to California described watching this play out and recognizing her own first impressions in it. She said the idea that Americans are fake doesn't match what she's actually experienced, that the friendliness reads as genuine rather than performed. Multiply that by tens of thousands of first-time visitors, and you start to see why so much of this footage has the same emotional shape. Skepticism walking in, disbelief walking out. Now let's talk about scale, because this is where the videos get almost comedic.
I've got to say, collectively, we owe the USA an apology.
And I'm going to say sorry on behalf of all the countries outside America and their media.
I know it's not a very popular thing to say right now, but I love being in the US.
America is rich in culture, scenery, the people are amazing.
Find out how much money we spend on high school sports.
There's honestly no way that this is normal. Look at this. Like, this is a high school stadium? What? Look at the amount of seats in this.
visitors have spent weeks documenting convenience stores the size of small airports. A Texas travel center chain in particular has become an unlikely tourist attraction in its own right, with fans posting stunned reactions to a gas station that also functions as a food court, a gift shop, and apparently a genuine destination. And there, supermarkets get the same treatment. Groups of Japanese visitors have posted entire videos just walking the aisles of an American big box stores, treating the cereal section like a museum exhibit. To someone used to a compact European market, an American supermarket can genuinely look like a warehouse. And then there's the food. Portion sizes have become their own recurring punchline. European fans ordering what they think is a normal meal and receiving something built for 2 or 3 people. An English visitor's post about an In-N-Out order, calling it the best food of his life, ended up everywhere. A different fan's Waffle House run at 1 in the morning turned into a full photo essay, complete with a promise to come back. Would you rather a modest plate that leaves you wanting more, or a plate you can't finish and still call the best meal you've had? Then there's the geography itself, and this is where a lot of Europeans quietly recalibrate everything they thought they understood about distance.
Dude. That's great.
So big.
A German fan joked online that he spent more time walking through a stadium parking lot than he normally spends getting from his hotel to a Bundesliga match entirely. That's not an exaggeration for effect. That's just what American parking infrastructure looks like when you've grown up around stadiums embedded in dense city centers. COLIP, aerial or wide shot of stadium parking lots. Tailgating culture adds another layer of confusion and delight. To a fan expecting to walk from a train station straight to the turnstiles, the idea of hundreds of families grilling in a parking lot for hours before kickoff looks less like a football match and more like a neighborhood festival that happens to have a game attached to it. Safety is the stereotype that's taken the hardest hit. Plenty of visitors arrived having absorbed a steady diet of headlines about American chaos, expecting caution at every turn. What they describe instead, over and over, is orderly crowds, visible security that doesn't feel hostile, and law enforcement that leans into the party atmosphere rather than clamping down on it. One recurring line showing up across dozens of these posts is some version of an apology. Fans admitting that what they'd been told back home simply didn't match what they found on the ground, that the friendliness and the calm caught them completely off guard. Would you rather trust the headlines you've never tested or the week you actually lived? Money comes up too, though usually sideways, through small comments rather than spreadsheets.
Thank you, Fred. Fred will have you.
Is that big?
Heavy. Is it big? It's so heavy. It's so heavy. Why is it so heavy? Dinner is served.
Visitors comparing menu prices, gas prices, and portion sizes back of envelope against what they pay at home tend to walk away, either pleasantly surprised or quietly stunned, depending on which city they landed in. It's less a formal economic argument and more a running commentary. This costs less than I expected. That costs more. But either way, I got more for it. Patriotism is where a lot of this footage turns from funny to genuinely moving, whether or not that was the visitor's intention. A packed rodeo crowd in the Fort Worth stockyards, made up largely of England supporters in town for the tournament, ended up singing along to a decades-old American sing-along standard in unmistakably British accents, and the clip spread for exactly that reason. It wasn't staged, it wasn't expected, it just happened. Small-town pride shows up constantly too. Flags on porches, national anthem moments before kickoff that visibly catch international fans off guard with how much the crowd means it. Food culture deserves its own beat, because it's clearly one of the biggest recurring characters in this entire trend. Waffle House alone has turned into something like a pilgrimage site for visiting fans, showing up in caption after caption as the most American experience someone can have at 1 in the morning. Mexican food, barbecue, and fast food chains most Europeans have only seen in movies all get the same treatment. Genuine, often emotional appreciation, filmed in real time. Tipping culture trips a lot of visitors up at first, and drive-through culture, and the sheer number of soda flavors at a self-serve fountain, which for some reason keeps showing up as its own little moment of culture shock. By the time these fans are heading home, the tone of the footage has shifted. What started as curiosity, sometimes even mild dread, has turned into fans openly saying they arrived with the wrong idea entirely. Not every visitor says it in those exact words, but the pattern across hundreds of these posts is consistent. Expectations set by headlines and secondhand stories, and a lived experience that didn't match them. So here's the actual question underneath all of this. Would you rather judge a country by what you've been told about it, or by what you actually find when you go stand in it yourself? If this kind of story is one you want more of, go ahead and like this video, share it with someone who'd get a kick out of it, and subscribe with notifications on so you catch the next one in this series the moment it's up. One last thing before you go. This video is a compilation built from public social media posts, news coverage, and traveler accounts shared during the 2026 World Cup, put together for entertainment and discussion. It doesn't capture the full picture of any country's culture or represent official policy anywhere, and individual clips reflect individual experiences, not universal ones. Watch, enjoy, and make up your own mind.